Hello and welcome back to another episode of Hawaiian Shirt Projects. Today we're going to be back in the forge, and I'm going to be going over a basic technique that every blacksmith should know. And that'll be a twist. And while we're going over that, I will also be doing a reverse twist. If you want to see how that's done, stick around. So to start things off, I've got a piece of 1/2-inch rebar that I'm going to be using for this. If you have a square bar, it'll be a heck of a lot easier. That way you can skip this first bit of the process entirely and just go right into the bending. But seems how I've got rebar, it's round. If you have round bar, you'll be doing the same thing. I'm just going to heat it up to a decent forging temp. I'm just going to gently hammer out the length and then flip it a quarter and hammer out the length again. I'm just trying to get to flatten out into a square bar rather than it being round, as well as I'm getting rid of the ribs that are part of the rebar. And we're going to get into the twisting as soon as I have it all flattened out. In order to do this, I am just leaving it flat on the anvil. I'm using the flat side of my hammer, and I'm just gently going across the length of the heated section, and then I'll flip it 1/4 turn, and then go the length, hammer the length again, flip it a 1/4 turn, go the length again, until I get it to a decent square shape. The squarer you get this, the better your twist is going to turn out. Because in order to have anything show up with a twist, it has to have corners. If you just do a round bar and you twist it, you ain't going to see anything. So while I'm finishing up making this into a square, I'm going to go ahead and ask you guys that if you're enjoying the videos, go and hit that subscribe button. If you're liking this video, smash that like button. And if you're really liking the content that I'm putting out, I'd really appreciate it if you could forward this to your friends, kind of show them. Every little bit helps, and I'm more than happy to share the knowledge. Alright, now that we got it nice and squared up, I'm going to take it back to the fire, and I want a nice even heat the entire length that I want to have the twist on. So, once we got that heated up, nice and even, I'm going to bring it over here to the vise. I'm going to clamp right about 1/2 inch to 1 inch of material, and then I'm going to take my pliers. If you have a bending wrench, it'd be much easier, but all I have at the moment is pliers. And then I'm just going to give it a 1.5 to 1 3/4 is kind of what I'm wanting for this project, this twist anyways. I feel like that looks pretty decent. And I'm just going to give it a nice even twist. Try to keep it continuous and try to make sure that you're keeping everything straight while you're doing this. It'll help prevent you from needing to straighten it out later on. I'm going to give it a nice little brush, see how it looks. Looks pretty decent to me. So now I'm going to take and straighten it out in the vise. It did bend on me a little bit, and in order to do this, instead of doing it on the flats, I'm going to go corner to corner in my vise jaws. So the corners are actually going to be what the vise jaws are pressing on. That way it doesn't crush the twist design itself and deform it or make it look funny at all. Now that we got that straightened out, that is the end of a basic twist. Fairly simple. And here we are now going to go into doing the reverse twist. I'm going to go over this fairly quickly with you guys. I might do a more extensive video on it, but I feel like it's fairly simple. Now the key here is to isolating the heat and doing the opposite direction, twisting the opposite direction of what you originally twisted in. As you can see, this line here is where I wanted the heat to end, because that's where I want the reverse twist to begin. And so in the coal forge, it was very simple and easier to isolate the heat, rather than if you have a gas forge. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. You're going to have to try and selectively quench areas in order to get that heat to stop where you want. So I got that heat isolated, and I just started my reverse twist slightly before I go ahead and get it back into the fire, and I continue heating the top section. Again, I want to make sure that the heat stops right about the middle of my project where my reverse twist begins, because everything underneath that red spot is going to be cold and isn't going to want to twist, whereas to the red hot is going to twist just fine. And again, I'm just going to try to make sure everything's nice and even and straight as I do this. Try and keep it about the same amount as I did on the bottom with the 1.5 to 1 3/4 turn. And as you can see, there's my isolated heat. That way I'm not bending the area or twisting the areas that I don't want to twist. Now it did come out a little bit bent, so I am going to have to straighten it back out. I'm going to do this in the vise again. And here's the finished product. That is the basic twist. And then here we are with the reverse twist. And you can put as many reverse twists in a project as you want. But for now, that's it. And as always, stay classy and party on.